Welcome to The Global Girlfriend.
Shall we book a flight to Prague?
Yep.
Hey everyone, my name's Morgan,
And my name's Brianna.
and welcome to The Global Girlfriend. We're a podcast that is all about travel, living abroad, sharing stories, and connection. And welcome to this week's episode, which is part 2 of Sorry I Missed Your Wedding. If you listened to last week's episode, it was an awesome episode with Brianna's sister Kira, and she shared a little bit about from the perspective of what it's like having family members and two sisters who live abroad and being the family member who is living in their home country. And this week's episode, we're going to share a little bit more on Sorry I Missed Your Wedding from the perspective of two people who live abroad, have lived abroad, and just travel extensively. And so this is a topic that we both really care about as it really just hits home. And, I think that a lot of people think that, travel and living abroad is always just like fields of bunnies and butterflies. But there's a lot of pros and cons that come with that. And one of the things is missing out.
Definitely one of the biggest sacrifices I think that you make when you choose to live abroad is the fact that life continues to go on back home and your family and friends back home are carrying on with their lives and they're getting married and having babies and achieving things and the fact of the matter is that we are away for a lot of that, and that is actually a really huge con or downside I think to living abroad. And when I think about of all of my friends that I know that have gotten married, I think I've been to like one or two weddings of the maybe 15 or 20 that I've been invited to. And I feel really bad about that. And it's, hard to see like the photos of everyone having a great time. And of course, I always want to be a supportive friend, but like it's really hard to be a supportive friend sometimes from a distance. And like things like weddings and funerals, like I think that's when you feel it the most. And I think a really good example for me, at least, of a time when I felt like really a little bit selfish and bad is one of my best friends from university was getting married, and I had RSVP'd that I was going to the wedding, and I was excited for the wedding, and I had a group gift planned with the friend group and all of that sort of stuff. And then, as we've talked about on previous episodes, I got a job offer in Albania and had to make the decision to move there like super quickly. And so not only did I have to be
Mhm.
like, hey friends, by the way, like I'm leaving, but I was also like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, like I can't come to your wedding anymore. And I had to like pull out at the last minute, and like what goes into wedding planning, there's like dates and table seatings, and like
Mhm.
I felt so bad and I felt so selfish about it. So that was definitely like a time for me where I felt really like, oh, like I know I'm making the best choice for me, but like you feel it in your friendships. Do you have anything that like you've missed or felt sad about or
Okay, yeah, definitely can relate to a lot of the experiences you've had. And even just like very recent now, on the other side of, planning a wedding right now. I guess this isn't so much what I've missed, but like, having, so many friends that I've met through travels and living abroad and wanting them to be there. It's just not guaranteed. And I already know that a lot of my friends who live all over the world, like Brianna, um, isn't able to attend. And so that's like, you know, another thing. But yeah, I think that during my time living abroad, like I I remember missing a couple Christmases, and that's just that is such a big familial holiday. And I remember feeling so sad not being there and just FaceTiming my family and seeing everyone together. And I made a commitment to myself, like I miss so many day-to-day things living far that I for sure every year want to try to make it home for Christmas. So that's something that I tried to do. And then I think the most recent thing, and as I've moved back near a lot of my family, but still travel quite a bit, um, in February when I went to Tanzania and hiked Mount Kilimanjaro, we were flying back to Europe, and we had like a short stop in France before Spain. And my friend, I didn't, I was like, I don't need any service anyways. But she was like, oh, why don't I just hotspot you? Like, you can just, we have to sit here anyways. And I was like, okay, fine. And so she hotspotted me, and I had like all these like messages come through like to call um Danny, my fiance, and like my family, which is like, oh no. And I called, and my
Uh-oh.
grandfather passed away while I was gone. And so that was super sad. And I mean, I was able
Oh.
to attend his funeral, but still, it's, I'm like, I moved back to be close, and then I'm on this, 3-week trip. And out of all the time, I missed out on time spent with my grandpa, and also like, when everyone found out he passed away. So it's those things where it is hard, and it does come with a cost to be far and to, travel extensively, I think.
Totally. And I also think that, like, especially when it comes to things like funerals or the sadder things, like, of course, you always feel far when you're far away from your family, but distance feels so much
Yeah.
harder in those moments because you're like, even if I wanted to be there, I couldn't. Like, you just feel really, like, really helpless and really sad. And that's like super
Yeah,
hard.
no, absolutely. And so I feel like, yeah, there's a lot of highs when you're, living in another culture and traveling and stuff. But there's also a lot of lows because, you feel guilty, and yeah, you feel sad, um, or just, I think your sister said last week that one of the things that she misses the most is like all the little moments. And I think that like when I would go back and visit, it would be very apparent that like I felt like there was a little less of a connection because it's like everyone was like living kind of day-to-day life together, and I felt like a little bit like isolated. And so just also that fear of like maybe even like my familial relationships aren't gonna like be the same, and so worry.
Yeah. Yeah, no, no, and I think that's also, like I think that also plays into, like, why it actually hurts so much to miss the big things because it's like you know you're gonna miss the small things, you know you're gonna miss the small moments, and that is really hard, but then I think as soon as something big happens and you have to miss that, well, then you're like, "Okay, well, I've missed the big things and I've missed the small
Yeah.
things," and, like, I don't wanna just, like, show up and be the star of the show, you know what I mean, when I come back for a visit, like, I kind of wanna just, drop in and have it be, like, back to things like as
Yeah.
usual. But I think that's also one of the reasons why when you miss things like weddings and funerals and birthdays and whatever, I think that's why it hurts so much is because you feel like you're just losing that connection a little
Oh
bit.
no, absolutely. I totally feel that. And like I feel like also there is just this thought of, you know, am I selfish? Like, is something wrong with me? Am I selfish for wanting this life? And I feel some of that is my own internal dialogue. And I feel some of that, and maybe not so directly that like people are trying to instill guilt upon you, but like, there's a lot of
Yeah.
comments and, oh, well, you're just far, like, you're not here. Like, you just want to live your life. And, there's a lot of commentary that I feel like I heard. And then also just I'm really hard on myself. So I constantly was like, is something wrong with me? Like, am I like so selfish?
Totally. I actually had an experience the other day. I was in the grocery store with my mom, and we ran into some parents of some childhood friends of ours, and basically this family friend was like talking about how she also has three kids, and one of her kids lives down the street, and the other one has kids that go to the elementary school that we went to, and then the other one has two kids under two, and she's really busy, and she was just talking about like how nice it is to have her family so close. And literally my mom, and I know my mom is supportive of all of our choices, but my mom was like, "Yep, well, my kids don't live here." And that was like the end of the discussion. And like but
Oh,
I was just standing there for the whole thing and I was like, I just like, I felt a bit bad in that
hmm,
moment where I'm like, "Oh, crap, like I'm sorry you don't have some joy to contribute to the conversation
yeah,
about how great
yeah,
it is to have your family close." Like and at the same time, like I know my mom is supportive of my choices, but at
yeah.
the same time I was kind of like, "Oh, sorry." Like
Oh,
it's
it
hard.
is. And I feel like kind of same that like, back and forth pros and cons that we kind of go through. I feel like our families do as well. Like, like, and on one hand, they're like, we want you to live your dreams. Look, we created these amazing daughters who aren't scared to go live their dreams. But on the other hand, they're like, I love them so much. I just want to like squeeze them right next to me all the time. So I think it's like
Yeah,
also just, tough.
it's got to be so hard. And I mean, I know we talk about this a lot on a lot of our different episodes, but I also feel like again, this is like a situation where like social media is both a blessing and a curse
Yes.
because it's so nice to be able to stay connected with people on FaceTime, and like it's so nice to be able to um I saw a Zoom wedding the other day, which
Oh,
was like really beautiful. But at the same time, and it's funny that you mentioned Christmas because I feel very similar about Christmas as well. I had to miss a Christmas during the pandemic, and like Christmas is so important to my family, and I just remember like it was nice to be able to FaceTime my family at
mhm.
Christmas, but it was also like really kind of sad because you sort of like FaceTime in and you're on the other side of the world and it's a different time, and like you see everybody having so much fun doing like the traditions and
Yeah.
the things that you always do. And so like of course it's nice to be able to like see people and connect with people, but it's also like yeah, it's kind of just it really sort of like shines a spotlight on like how far you are and how much you aren't there for things.
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. Are there things that you do like in those moments where you're feeling, down and sad that kind of helps you cope or, you know?
I think the first thing is like you just have to let yourself feel whatever it is that you're feeling. Like if you feel guilty, let yourself feel guilty. If you feel sad, let yourself feel sad. I think you also have to put a time limit on it, because there's the flip side of it, which is like okay, I've made this choice. So yes, I'm sad to be missing something. So I might as well make the most of the opportunity of where I am and like
Yeah.
seize those kind of things. I had a really very strange experience where actually I had an ex boyfriend who died a
Oh,
few summers
yeah.
ago,
I
like
remember.
super unexpectedly. And I had the very surreal experience of like watching his funeral online, which was just like at like, and this was someone that we hadn't dated or spoken in a really long time. But like, and like this sounds really cheesy, but like I just like lit a little candle and like watched his funeral. I was in Canada, he was in Kenya, and I just like lit a little candle
Yeah.
and watched his funeral, and that was actually really, I mean, obviously it was really sad and it wasn't great, but I just sort of like, and I'm not a very religious person or spiritual person, but I'm like, it was just sort of something that I sort of like felt that I had to do to like go through that whole process. So I would say like if you're missing something, whether it's a positive event or like a sad event like
Mhm.
a funeral, like just do something special where you are to honor the thing that's going on. One of my girlfriends actually, when I first moved abroad, she gave me a candle and she was like, every time you light your candle in your apartment, like I want you to think of me. And I still have that. It's a huge
Mhm.
candle.
Oh my gosh,
But like
that's a giant
I still
candle.
yeah, but I still have that and I light that up
Oh,
a couple times and like I do.
that's
I think
special.
about her all the time. So like those are some things that I've done. Do you have anything that you do when you're missing out on things that sort of help you out or
Yeah, okay, also, that's so special. I'm picturing you, like, light the candle and
Mhm.
just thinking of your friend. I feel like absolutely, I'm a lover of snail mail, and so I feel like something I do in my life now, and especially when I was living in Europe, I really loved any little weekend trip or even in the town I lived in, found a cute postcard I really cared about. I mostly sent it to my soul sister, Grandma Kathy, and then also to my other
Aw.
grandparents, and then, not as consistently, but to like my parents, my brother, and friends and such. So I feel like snail mail, just getting that physical piece of mail all the way from across the world, and just having a little message of like how much I love them, and also just a little blurb of what am I doing. I feel like was a way
Yeah.
to just kind of feel connected in life with my people from afar. And obviously, voice notes, as we know, are crucial. And for
Yes.
years, there was this app, and I think it probably still exists, called Marco Polo. Have you heard of it?
Okay.
No,
No, what is it?
it's an app where you take like videos. So basically it's just like selfie videos, and it like keeps them all in the app. And so one of my best friends, Olivia, and I,
Mhm.
that's how we communicated for years. Like we didn't text, we didn't call, we just Marco Poloed, and we would just send like these like videos of our faces just catching up, and we were like super consistent about it. And I feel like that was like essential, just staying connected from a long distance.
I love that. And actually, one of my really good friends, Meg, who lives on the other side of Canada, she started something for our like Facebook group chat that we have with our friends from universities called like Waffle Wednesdays, where just on Wednesdays, everyone gets on, like, makes a little video, like a 1 minute video of themselves being like, these were the very regular things that happened to me this week. And that's actually been like super nice. And we don't do it every Wednesday, but like when we do, it's been like, so it's just like, because then you don't feel like you're missing out on the small things. Well, I mean, you are still
Oh,
missing out on the small things, but like you don't feel it as much to just sort of be like, oh, cool, this was like a regular week in your life. And
yeah.
that's been really
Oh,
nice.
I really like that. And it's pretty tangible, like 1 minute once a week, like just those little details of the week.
Yeah,
I might
it's so nice.
implement
And
that.
honestly, it's so nice and it's very casual and like you don't need to look nice. And like I usually do it because of the time zone difference. Like I do it right when I get to work on like Thursday, I guess, because Canada's still behind me. But yeah, it's just really nice. It's a wonderful thing to do. And another thing, actually, that I have loved, and I think this makes it special, is obviously we're at the time in our lives when a lot of our friends have small kids.
Hmm.
And again, I've missed so many births and baby showers and all of those sort of the same things. But something that I love to do is I love to buy a book from the country where I'm living,
Hmm.
and write a little note in the front for my friends' kids and just be like, thinking of you from Bali. Like, I hope you get to travel a lot someday. And then I feel like, okay, I do feel bad that I couldn't come to the baby shower, but at the same time, I do love to just bring little unique gifts. And,
Hmm.
maybe when those kids are older, or I hope my friends really realize that, like, even though I'm far away, like, I still want to include everybody in the journey as well. So,
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's super important. And like, just kind of reframing your mindset that like, missing out on these things, it doesn't mean you care. It doesn't mean that you're not a part of it in a way. And like, I think it also like living far and traveling extensively provides a really unique opportunity to like bring in that international presence. Or I feel like me and you have both from living abroad have gotten to have some really unique experiences where we've gotten to travel abroad with a lot of our family members, our parents, best friends that a lot of people don't always get to travel internationally with like every important person in their life, you know?
I love that you said that. And like, you're so right. Like, when I think about it, I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Like, again, sorry that I missed your wedding, but I'm glad that we got to go on safari together. you know?
I mean, that was the perfect contrast to share an example. Okay, I love that. Uh,
But no, I'm so glad you brought that up. And then I think another thing, because we can't only focus on the negatives, like obviously in us being away, we're gaining so much. And
mhm,
like I feel so blessed. Like I've met a lot of friends internationally, and so maybe I haven't known them for 15 years like I've known my friends in Canada. But I've gotten to go to some really cool weddings internationally
oh
as
yeah,
well, which has been really nice. I've been to Albanian weddings, I've been to Greek weddings, I've been to Kenyan weddings.
love that.
And so it's just wonderful to be involved in anyone's special day. I think it's an
Mhm.
honor when you get invited to that. And I think that, like, yes, there is a trade off. So, like, yes, we are missing things at home, but we are gaining so much and so many experiences abroad. So yeah, it's a choice that we've made, and there's pros and cons. And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
No, yeah, I absolutely relate to that. So yeah, I think that just kind of, reflecting on, trade-offs, like you just mentioned, like, I mean, you just gain so much perspective, and also like deeper appreciation for family time. And I think like y'all mentioned last week, like I know that you kind of crave those like day-to-day moments maybe with your people from home, but like when you visit home it's very much like embrace like every moment, like boom boom boom. But I just think like it does operate in extremities, but I think that you really embrace those moments when you're home, and like every moment is special. And so I really think that brings just a really unique perspective.
Totally. And I also think that like both you and I are super lucky in that like our family has come to visit us, our friends have come to visit us. We make the
Hmm.
effort to come back multiple times a year. And I think that, or I hope that, our family and friends know how much we love them and know how much we care about them. And I think we're both just really lucky also to have so many supportive people in our lives that like get
Yeah.
that, and they're ready to embrace us when we're home, and they let us go when it's our time to go. And I just think, like, I don't know, I feel very grateful.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that sometimes it's hard, I think we both have really wonderful people in our lives that that know that even though we can't be there, like, we do still love them.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
know that I'm going to miss your wedding, but I hope you know that I still love you so much.
I know. I know. I definitely know that. So, absolutely. So yeah, so I guess just final thoughts. Um, you know, just number one, like you're not alone if you feel this way, like as Bran and I have shared today. Like we've had so many mixed emotions of, the good and the bad, the pros and the cons of what it's like to miss out on things when traveling and, just living far from people you love.
Yeah, and I mean, just if you're thinking about moving abroad, or like if you're in it and you're struggling, like, it's part of it. Like, missing things is part of it. And I think as long as you do your best to be the best friend that you can wherever you are in the world, being thoughtful, being mindful, sending messages, sending voice notes, I think that, it's part of it. And you just got to do your best to be a good friend. And that's how it goes, I guess.
That's how it goes. And, past, present, and future, we're sorry if we have to miss your wedding.
Exactly. We're going to miss more stuff, but hopefully we're going to be there for things. And
Mhm.
yeah, we just, whether you're here or there, wherever you're listening, we love you a lot.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So if you have enjoyed this episode, or if you have an experience that you want to share, we would love to hear from you. So if you've liked this conversation and want to have a little bit more, Morgan, where can people find us on the internet?
Yeah, we'd love to chat more with you. You could find us at The Global Girlfriend on Insta and TikTok, and or check out our website at theglobalgirlfriend.com. You can always send an inquiry or an email there to just engage with us, and we'd love to chat.
So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, and we hope that you are loving your life wherever you are and not feeling too sad about missing out on things. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yep, see ya. Bye.
Bye.